On your hardcore journey, you're going to be completing many quests. Whether it's carrying a package halfway across the world, collecting hooves from apparently hoofless zebra, or delving into a dungeon to defeat a boss. Classic leveling is something that takes a long time, even for the most experienced of players.
But it's fun.
During that journey, certain quests that you come across may prove a little more difficult than others. In fact, some of them are just straight up incredibly overtuned and not fair at all towards the player. Those are the quests we are going to be talking about today.
But those are the fun ones, man. The ones where you really have to dig deep into your brain in your classic WoW knowledge and figure out a way to maybe cheese it or maybe get it done even if you're not supposed to be able to do it, right? Yes, we did watch the Captain Grimm video.
Whether the quest is a trap, a dangerous escort, or just in a cave in general, there are some quests out there which you should probably give a second thought towards before you accept them unprepared. Now, of course, there are elite quests in the game which are expected to be in a group for, and there are even people who try to solo dungeons too. And whilst these are feats of strength in of themselves, well, you're meant to be in a group. The quests I'll cover today are things which are specifically not marked as elite. And can easily catch you off guard if you approach them solo.
So it's like Stranglethorn Fever, like Heart of Mok and stuff like that.
Or if you don't read the quest text, because quite a few of these quests do drop hints that you should probably bring more than one person. And it is difficult narrowing it down to just 10, but for me, these are some of the hardest quests to attempt on your hardcore
The chicken escort,
But before we go on, a quick word from today's sponsor, Factor 75.
Wow!
I'm told summer is here, which means it's prime grass-touching season, and with Factor 75, you can order and plan your meals to suit your lifestyle. Factor 75 offer delicious, dietitian-approved meals delivered straight to your doorstep.
I'm getting 5.
You also won't be spending hours in the kitchen, as each meal is ready in 2 minutes. It's microwavable food, but just not like you've had it before. So if you're looking to eat healthier or wanted to pick up on some better eating habits, Factor 75 can help there. Their meals are calorie counted, and the weekly menus feature over 30 restaurant-quality meals, including keto, calorie smart, vegan, vegetarian, and many more. And you'll always be able to find something thanks to their rotating menu. So you and your wallet will both be looking fully buffed. Plus, with their special packaging, you don't even need to be at home to receive your meals. So
what is that?
Why not give them a try? Use my link or go to factor75.com and use code POGWILLYJUNE50 for 50% off your first box. Once you click, my description will live update to count up the purchases. Many thanks as always to Factor75 for the sponsor today. Let's get back to WoW.
I'm getting 10 of those, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, we're in Eastern Plaguelands, or Western.
Western Plaguelands. You will have had a good amount of time on your character when you reach this quest, and have already gotten way further than most will.
The Cauldrons.
But in these later game zones are some really nasty quests. The first one I want to touch on is called A Matter of Time. It's a quest from Chromie in Underhall that has you use a temporal displacer on nearby...
This quest is a secret killer, man. So many people that end up pulling these mobs here, they don't realize they're slow, and they don't realize that they keep spawning. A little trick for this quest, though, is just go to the eastern part of the zone of like Underhall, wherever there's water nearby. The worms can't swim, so you can just jump into the water if you're about to die.
Silos to summon and then destroy 15 temporal parasites.
These ones right here.
It sounds simple enough, but there are 2 problems here. First up is the fact that parasites spam a slowing effect, which makes it difficult to escape and totally ruins melee DPS. Second is how many of them can spawn.
It's random.
After you use the displacer, up to 3 parasites can spawn at one time, and after you kill one, there is a chance for another to respawn and take its place. I'm not sure what the limit is on how many can spawn at once and replace others.
I think it's infinite.
I feel as though I've seen about up to 6 total personally. This makes the quest particularly dangerous, as you can't be sure whether there is another spawn coming or not. What I'd suggest doing if you're on a class less able to handle many mobs at once is to use the silos on the southeast of Underhall.
Yeah, with the water. You gotta use the ones with the water.
Make sure you're only summoning parasites from one of the silos, and then use the nearby water to reset aggro. This technique worked during Classic, and it still should on Era 2. Next is another quest from the Plague Lands, and this time
hammer
over to the east. It's kind of a surprise the first time you see this person here, but Tyrion
Have I played too much WoW? I mean, I don't know. I played too much vanilla WoW, guys. I'm sorry.
Himself is holed up at a small house in the northwest of the zone. He has a huge lore-heavy quest line involving a whole lot of mob grinding and dungeon running. One of the early parts of this quest is named Of Forgotten Memories. It has you go retrieve an item that's been buried outside a crypt to his south, and it seems like a pretty simple recovery quest.
I think they have like 5k HP. Like, those dwarves has an insane amount of HP.
But it is
where Walker died, guys.
When you loot the dirt pile, a level 57 main NPC and 3 level 55s will spawn. For some reason, all of these guys do way higher damage than average for their level, in addition to having over 5,000 health each. Simply put, taking on all 4 at once is going to be very challenging, especially if you are under level.
It's so dumb.
The good news is you only need to defeat the 57 to loot the item.
It's easy to ads and kill the main guy.
There are several ways to do this quest pretty safely. First of all, if you're playing any ranged class in the game, there's a small broken down part of the fence nearby to where you loot the dirt pile. If you run up to this, tap jump and forwards and then do that again, you'll be able to jump over it. The mobs will have to run far around to the side in order to reach you here, so you can simply wear the leader of the robbers down.
I will say though, this little fence jump is actually quite hard. Sometimes you have to like jump a little bit and then jump again to like make it, so it can scuff you up pretty bad.
If you're a melee, you need to do a split pull on the mobs. In order for this to work, you need to aggro all 4 mobs at the same time
and only attack that guy.
You can't pull one mob and have the others aggro off of him and follow you. That won't work. The best way to do this is via a consumable that deals AoE damage, such as grenades. And even if you aren't an engineer, you still get nades from various quest rewards, so you'll probably have some on you. So you nade the mobs, run away, keep the 57 in combat with thrown weapons or other attacks, and after a while the 55 should reset, leaving you with a 1v1. And you
split pulling is incredibly OP actually, the fact that you can even do this.
You keep running with a 57, as the 55s might just re-aggro anyway. Or, you know, just run in, blast
you have to press spacebar very hard
and hope for the best. That can work too. Next is first of the defend against waves of enemies type.
But the thing about this quest though, okay, here's a spoiler again, guys. You just bring the ads to the little tunnel, and then whenever you kill the ads, the next wave won't go on you instantly, okay? So whenever you in between the waves, you can chill and like reset your character, right?
Of quest on this
there's 3 waves.
Pawn captures Queen. It's fairly deep into a quest chain which
starts in
and takes place in Ongoro Crater. This has you use an item to summon mobs in the back of a cave. After using the item, 2 mobs will instantly spawn to defend the hive. Upon defeating them, 3 more will instantly spawn, and when you defeat them, the Queen herself will spawn alongside 2 more mobs.
A lot of people die this.
The big tip here is you don't need to instantly fight one wave after the other. If you stand towards the entrance of the room, you'll be able to eat and drink up to full health and mana in between each wave. As for the last wave with the Queen, you only technically need to defeat her for the quest item, and then you could run away and de-aggro the other 2 mobs. But this is risky. There's a pretty good chance that enemies will have started to respawn back near the entrance of the cave.
You gotta go as soon as you clear all the ads, just because like you have like what 5 minutes or so, something like that.
And you could just be running back into even
the respawns are really fast.
Plan to defeat all 3 waves if possible. Next, I want to cover one horde specific and one alliance specific quest.
This guy dies so fast, by the way. Whenever you pull those trucks or whatever that does fireballs, he dies in like 2 fireballs. It's ridiculous, man, and the respawns are so gnarly.
Both very difficult and should be approached with caution on a
I didn't pre-watch the video chat.
The Horde one is Test of Endurance, which takes place in 1000 needles.
Oh, dude, the Test of Endurance is way harder than the Absent-Minded Prospector. It's not even... Dude, this one is ridiculous.
This is part of a really long quest chain, which during this part has you go into a nearby Harpy Cave, another cave quest, get used to seeing
this one is scary,
and defend against several waves of enemies. And despite this quest taking place around level 30 or so, it is way more dangerous than the one we just talked about in Ongoro. After destroying one of the food crates, you start the encounter, which will summon 2 harpies in the first wave, 2 harpies in the
second. Type 1 in the chat if you doubted to this, guys.
The 3 harpies in the 3rd wave, and 2 harpies as well as the final boss in the last
It's
wave.
just a respawn.
Each wave comes in really fast, giving you
Yeah, and they silence as well. They do like a big 8-second silence or something like that.
Little time to recover in between each
Look
set.
at this.
The cave also has extremely high mob density and very low respawn times, meaning that respawns will have more or less guaranteed happened by the time you're towards the end of the waves.
This one is actually way harder than Yunguru, like the Queen quest. This is ridiculous.
If that doesn't sound bad enough, they also spam a silence effect, meaning if you're a caster, this quest gets way more difficult as you're stuck wanding for the most part. All in all, you should either overlevel.
I did this on flop, but there was other people in the cave when I did it. But I managed to still do it on the big flop. And I just died to Sulfurak a little bit later, but you know, that's how it goes.
This quest with all your cooldowns and potions available, or just probably
it's doable, Grills, but it's hard.
Caster. On the Alliance, one of the more dangerous early game quests
this one is not that hard.
The escort part of the absent-minded prospector. This has you take an NPC around a dig site in search of a relic.
I wouldn't say this quest is like terrible. It's hard, but it's not like crazy hard.
Quests are already notorious in World of Warcraft, mostly for having mobs which move a bit faster than you walk, but slower than you run. But this one has a whole other level of challenge. First of all, a dig site might as well be a cave as it has 1 entrance and 1 exit. The NPC you're escorting is level 16, whereas mobs in the dig site range from 18 all the way to 21. There are both very fast respawns.
I think I did this at level 20 or so on my rogue, yeah.
Dynamic respawns in effect here. Dynamic meaning there must always be a certain number of enemies in the area at one time.
Yeah, so they keep spawning.
If you are unlucky, you can get rid of 1 golem and another instantly spawns to take its place. I've had this happen to me before. But the real danger here is the trogs that attack towards the back of the
fireballs.
Camp. You get 1 melee and 1 caster who can spawn up to level 21. This escort quest feels as though you need good RNG to take it on at a level appropriate to the quest. Because when you first visit this area around level 17 to 18, good luck. That's all I'm going to say. Speaking of dangerous escort quests, you can't mention the subject without talking about...
The one in Tanaris, in my opinion, is the hardest. Then it's the one in... what is it called? In Hinterlands, and then the one in Feral Ass is the easiest one, in my opinion. But these chicken escorts can get very gnarly,
About the chicken quests. There are 3 in total, all of which started from random zone-wide drops in mid to late game areas. Each one of these has a reputation due to the sheer number
The one in Feral Ass is hardest because you have to farm for hours to get the chicken. This one does seem to have the lowest drop rate, you're right.
That you have to fight off during each of them. But if you are able to do these quests, they give amazing XP, good item rewards, and if you do all 3, you get a mechanical chicken of your own, which you can even trade on the auction house if you want to. But
you get a lot of XP. If you finish all 3 of them, you get a bonus 4th quest, which it gets like 9.7k XP or something like ridiculous.
Least dangerous chicken quest is in Feralus, simply because 2 of the patrols that you run into are on the road, where there isn't a real risk of pulling anything else.
And you can skip some of them as well if you're a rogue or something like that.
Don't get me wrong, it's not exactly easy all the same, but the mobs you fight tend to be a little bit lower level than you are as well. The second hardest chicken quest for me is the one in Tanaris. And
I feel like this one is the hardest, man. That 3 scorpion pack is nasty.
Only really 1 difficult patrol to deal with, but it's really difficult. Around where you see a bunch of rocks, there will be 3 high-level Scorpid that
These are nasty.
which also apply a stacking poison debuff. The Scorpid themselves will already pose a problem for most players, but there are also several normal mobs roaming the area too, which can easily change.
I guess that's true too. Yeah, the stealth mobs.
If somebody has failed this quest before you, these Scorpids stay alive in the world for ages and just kind of auto-fail the next person attempting the quest. But the hardest chicken escort has to be the one in the hinterlands.
Really?
There are already dangerous patrols on the road with nearby mobs roaming about, but the bit that makes it...
This one you can actually skip. If you have a nifty stopwatch, you can run into this pack here, run all the way around with a nifty stopwatch as the chicken is running through, and then not even have to kill this pack right here. And then you can save all your big cooldowns on the next pack with the trolls on it, right? So you just use nifty stopwatch, run these mobs out, and then chicken goes through. Next pack, pop all cooldowns, and you're good to go.
Challenging is the final.
You can also use a mount if you have a mount. Yeah, I mean if. At that point, I didn't have a mount, so that's why I'm saying nifty. But yeah, you could also just run into this pack with a mount, run all the way to the right, so the chicken doesn't get aggroed, and then you can pull the next pack with all cooldowns.
The vile branch ambushers. The issue here is that there are stealthed wolves all over the place, and it's nearly impossible to fight both the trolls without accidentally pulling additional mobs into the fight.
Fair.
Making things even harder than they already are. There are two things you can say about these escort quests, and indeed all escort quests for that matter. Free clear where possible. If you know where you're going, you can ensure that the way is safe, apart from the additional NPCs that will spawn. And secondly, is sometimes you don't need to fight anything at all. If the NPC you're escorting does not enter combat with the patrol, they will just keep running along happily, and as long as you don't fall too far behind, you will not fail the quest. This can be consistent to pull off once you have a mount, and before that some classes can handle kiting mobs better than others. Mages can take enemies to the side and freeze them forever, and hunters can pull out mobs and feign death, and so on. Next is a quest back in STV called Stranglethorn Fever.
This one is, if you do this at the level where they are like yellow to you, like that same level, you're a god gamer, man. Okay, this is actually like difficult as heck, brother.
Defense quests in the game. In fact, I'd say there's only one harder than...
I did this on Wawa, but I was a little bit higher level, right? I wasn't like at the exact level with the quest, so like most of the mobs were green for me, right?
The saving grace here is that this quest takes place outdoors, so you can pretty easily
I was really high level, yeah.
Go wrong. Either way, the objective is to loot the heart of Mok the Savage. Getting him to spawn, though, can be tricky. First up, you need to collect 10 gorilla fangs to begin
that's not that bad. Hey, Willy, are you on a different...
To collect 10 gorilla...
You're not in vanilla, Willy. How dare you cheat on vanilla? Have you been playing other expansions? That is ridiculous. Are you on Wrath of the Lich King right now? Unbelievable, Willy.
Gorilla fangs to begin the event. The first wave you'll run into is 3 enraged gorillas to deal with. After that, you have a short amount of time
There's 3 of these, though.
Before the next wave of 5 gorillas will arrive.
Yeah, again, he's on Wrath right now, so there's only 3 here.
Deal with all of these whilst ensuring that the quest troll NPC remains alive. After that, the last wave of 6 gorillas, including the boss, will come. Now, this is kind of the easiest wave, as you no longer need to keep the NPC alive and only need to defeat the named mob, Mok the Savage.
I mean, yeah, you could just let all the gorillas aggro the NPC and then pick off Mok and then let the NPC die as you're killing Mok. But it's just getting to that point that's really, really difficult, right?
So you can just hide out of line of sight.
This is a really hard quest.
Wait for the gorillas to engage the NPC, and then pull out Mok by himself, defeat him, and then run off and reset the rest.
Fair enough.
As a tip on this quest, this wave won't spawn until all the gorillas from the last one are defeated. So keeping one mob CC'd or at low health and waiting for cooldowns is a very viable tactic. Next is an escort quest you should probably skip unless you've seen how it works firsthand, because what the game pulls on you here is kind of just not very fair.
It's nasty.
I've seen so many hardcore deaths on this quest.
And people get netted. The Centaurs on this pack here, the first pack, they net.
It's none other than Get Me Out of Here in Desolus. It has your leader level 39 NPC out of a Centaur camp. The first patrol you have to deal with is a set of 4 level 40 Centaur.
Whenever I did this, the escort actually just walked past. Like all these two mobs here, they just waddled over to the right, and then it didn't pull the goblin for some reason.
If you hang to the left of the pathway, the NPC should be able to just about avoid them without you having to intervene. The problem here is the second patrol, which has 3 Centaur and 2 hyena pets.
It's not that bad, TBH. If you have a lot of cooldowns, most classes will be able to do this.
This pack is nasty for so many reasons.
But they disarm. So that's the main thing. They use net and they disarm. So you just need to be aware of that.
The hyena can see through stealth, so don't even think about sneaking past them. And the Centaur disarm as well as spam a net. So it drastically cuts down the DPS of melee.
It's doable, but
and makes it very difficult to escape in general.
It's really RNG. If they hit you with a lot of disarms, you can definitely die to it easily.
This also makes kiting the mobs to the side problematic if you end up getting rooted at a bad time. It's worth a try if you want to have a go at a challenging quest, but you really do have to go out of your way to pick this one up. Next, it's back to Stranglethorn Vale again. There's quite a few hard quests in this zone. For the last part of the quest one named the Bloodsail Buccaneers.
That's the one.
The earlier parts of this quest have you investigate the Bloodsail and defeat some swashbucklers.
This one is
You
sketch.
usually do this around level 41, maybe 42.
Okay.
And then you get a follow-up quest to assault the Bloodsail ships, which are just anchored off the coast of Stranglethorn Vale. You have to fight your way inside each of the 3 separate ships, which both have extremely high mob density, fast respawn rates, and way higher combat levels compared to
You
the
can
rest
just pull so many mobs here, man. Like, you can pull through the little windows, and like it can go south so fast on these boats.
zone. To top it off, the objective of the quest is
It's
to
high level,
defeat the
48, I believe.
captains. Each of these captains have been bumped up a few extra combat levels, ranging from 46
This guy has like a board charge as well.
all the way to 48. So taking on this quest as soon as you can after having done the previous one is incredibly risky. Also, there is a little gap in the ship's stairs
You can pull
as
through the
head
gap, yeah.
down below deck. And if you get unlucky,
Yeah, and they can attack you through the deck. That's true as well. Yeah, there's a bull charge. They attack you through the deck. The Fleet Master Flalilion, whatever he's called, is level 48. It's a very sketch quest.
can see through there and aggro and end up chain pulling 3 or 4 others, leading to a situation that can very quickly get out of hand. This quest is one to come back to at a higher level for sure. Honorable mention to a quest here,
Madeira?
which isn't exactly difficult
Really?
per se, it's just impossible to do it without dying.
The brain
As
check,
part of
I
the
guess.
linking quest chain that starts in Ungoro Crater, you have to create a Vidare elixir.
Yeah, okay.
If you use this while standing in the graveyard in Tanaris, it will instantly kill you, allowing you to speak with a ghost to continue the quest chain.
I do wonder if somebody actually has done this, like without...
Goes without
in
saying,
hardcore.
you probably don't want to be doing this on your hardcore character.
I do
And
wonder.
Finally, it's
Probably
the
it has been
hardest
done.
Quest in the entire
Yeah, there
game
was
to
the
do.
mage, but I have a feeling like that was bait. We watched that 60 mage who did it, but that clip was just too perfect, right? The mage just dinked level 60 in Gachistan, and then he went to the graveyard and drank the elixir. Like, that, it was too perfect, right? It was definitely on purpose, I think.
At a level appropriate
it's just,
to it. Honestly, I don't know what Blizzard was thinking with this one, but it combines elements of every
this
dangerous quest possible into one. You're defending versus waves, you have little recovery time, you're in a cave, there are fast respawns, there are mobs that run in fear at high speed, you have a very small area to fight
This
in.
is scary.
The list just goes on and on.
It's not even the quest that's scary, it's just all the respawns, man. They're so fast in
It's
that
a
cave.
random out of the
And
way
you gotta go so deep too, man.
A quest in the Stone Talon Mountains called Garenzo's Orders. You've probably not even ever done it, or maybe even seen it. The first wave you have to deal with are 3 kobolds, which are around level 20. Not too bad, that. Followed shortly after by 4 more, all around level 20. This time you have 2 meleeers and 2 casters. This second pull is a lot harder due to the increased damage you'll be taking from the casters. The final pull is 4 level 23 to 24 kobolds.
And at this point, you probably will be getting respawns as well, right?
Including one with an aura that increases the attack speed of nearby allies by 25%.
I didn't even know that.
This is a level 22 quest, by the way, which makes it so much more difficult since your class will be lacking certain key defensive or offensive abilities. And even if you try to kite mobs out of the cave during the quest or pre-clear, respawns will happen during this quest because they just happen that fast here. If there was ever a quest to just skip, this is it. Or just really over-level it. I mean, you do get a decent pair of male boots out of it, but I'm not sure they're worth the risk. Anyways,
I mean, I think for a lot of these, when he says it's not worth the risk, I personally think, like, when it comes to hardcore, the fun thing is not really, the reward or whatever. It's like doing the difficult challenges and overcoming certain obstacles, right? So maybe you don't get anything good from really doing it, but I think the value in doing it is the risk itself, that you did it and you survived, right? That's pretty much it.
Those are 10 of my quests, which I reckon are the most challenging in Classic to go into unprepared on
We're playing a warlock and a rogue. Well, when I make a warrior next time, you'll see, Lord Lane. Yeah, you'll see.
Character. It's definitely difficult to narrow it down just to 10 since there are so many that can be problematic.
That's true.
I tried to go for ones here which more or less any class or spec in the game could have issues with.
Okay.
I guess the summary is escort quests as well as defending against waves of mobs inside of caves are both pretty tough. Who knew? Either way, that's all for today. Though. Any others you'd include, do let me know below. And as always, thank you all so much for watching.
I'll link the video, guys. I'll link the video here.
Next one very soon.
There you go. There's the video from Willie. Nice video, though. I like that. As Horde, there's only one quest I want to attempt to do, and that's Hellkiller's Revenge in Hillsbrad. Turning in a graveyard south tier is truly a suicide mission. Also, Test of Endurance can be approached similarly to Pawn Capture's Queen, and to make it more doable. I feel like the thing about that, though, is that in that RB cave, the respawns are way too ridiculous, right? It's just insane, man. Hardcore Classic popped off at the exact time for Willie to keep making fresh classic videos. Yeah. I mean, that's true, I suppose. That is very true.